We decided to open with a quote because we were inspired by the film The Grudge, who also opened with a quote in their title sequence. It effectively sets the scene for the rest of the film and gives an insight into what the film will be based around.
The quote uses formal language which we most likely associate with a more sophisticated person of an older age who is well educated. This adds more realism to the quote and is relevant to the location that we use.
We decided to emphasise true story because claiming that your project is true is a convention of the horror genre. Films such as Paranormal Activity, The Entity and The Blair Witch Project all claim that they are true because it makes the audience feel more uncomfortable, a crucial effect that all horrors try to have on their audience.
The colour of the font used in the quote and the title is significant because it is another convention of horror titles. The colour of black, white and red has been used for decades so that several horrors such as Stakeland, Hatchet and Let Me In.
The establishment shot of the Grandma's Legacy is deliberately shot against the bright sky in a silhouette to emphasise the magnitude of the house, as well as the history. It is important to select an old location because it's another classic convention of horror. As quoted by Carol Clover, they have terrible histories.
As the building comes into focus, we can appreciate the detail of the house. We used a long crossfade of the characters to suggest that they are intrinsically linked to the house and to imply the forthcoming action that the house is about to entail.
Teenagers stumbling across a problem is a classic convention of horror, more recently used in films such as Cabin in the Woods. An absence of parents, as stated by Wes Craven, is exhibited in our opening title sequence.
The use of flash earlier on in the sequence unsettles the audience and prepares them for feeling afraid. The particular shot was inspired by the Saw franchise, which uses flashes persistently.
The unconventional tilt shot of the building unsettles the audience and reinforces the idea of what is yet to happen.
The coats of arms on the turrets once again reinforce the idea of the building being related to medieval history.
We have tried to use some unconventional shots as well, such as characters walking at the step. The shot follows postmodern conventions of varying styles within continuity editing, without distracting the audience.
Characters entering the house from the bright outside to the darkness is reminiscent of The Woman in Black, because it symbolises the characters moving away from safety.
Following that, there is a point of view shot from the victim, the audience being forced to observe from the victim's shoes in the classic convention of the horror genre.
Shortly following the point of view of the victim is the point of view of the killer. It is observed from a high angle to emphasise its power and the victim's vulnerability, and also display that they are entering into the deeper realms of the building.
Another feature from The Woman in Black is the mise-en-scène of the dark wooden furniture and the stark red walls, which anticipate danger and blood in both The Woman in Black and our opening title sequence.
Another feature used to frighten the audience was the cupboard door slamming twice. It's a classic horror convention, more specifically used in the subgenre of paranormal. It suggests an unknown force lurking within the shot and is successful in making audiences jump, even though they know it is imminent. The Paranormal Activity franchise often uses these techniques.
The use of China dolls is comparable to those in The Woman in Black, which create an uneasy feeling among the audience.
There is a black frame which happens when there is a slam and the lights suddenly switch off. It is effective because it interrupts the audience's mesmerisation of the nursery rhyme and reinforces the idea of lurking presence within the room.
The nursery rhyme Rockabye Baby that is used is similar to the rhyme used in the first few minutes of The Woman in Black, where the three girls are playing with the dolls in their room. We tried to duplicate this soundtrack as it can thoroughly captivate the audience.
We decided to use quick transition of several shots within our opening sequence at the very end to indicate a sudden turn of events. In our case, Tom suddenly dying due to the nursery rhyme's curse. We put an all-green overlay on top of this effect to once again highlight the antique feel of the location.
There is also a scene in The Woman in Black where the toys are independently creating the sound of the nursery rhyme themselves. We tried to reproduce this scene by having the doll move independently to the soundtrack, just as the toy monkey does in The Woman in Black.
Finally, we decided to use the exterior of the house again at the end of our opening title sequence to symbolise that the story has gone full circle, from life at the start to death at the end. The use of the outside of the house at the end also makes the audience wonder if actually the house is cursed.